Are those thoughts actually yours? Or are they spirit worlds trying to communicate? Well, in this video, I'm going to be breaking down to you some of the signs that you should be watching out for. Also, how to realize the connection to the spirit world and when it's actually taking place and when it's your own consciousness. If you're new to the channel, my name is Psychic Medium Jordan Coburn, and I can prove with evidence of the afterlife. I've helped thousands of people on this earth plane to once again be able to reach out and contact their loved ones in spirit from the understandings and the teachings, and now it's your turn. Each and every one of you can become great mediums. In here at Help Heal Serve, we can give you the very foundations to forge your own unique understanding to the spirit world. Not to mention, we have the loving and supporting Help Heal Serve family. Also, I'd like to say a big massive thank you to each and every one of you who smash that like button, who share the content, who let me know down in the comment section if there's anything that you need to know further. And this, I believe, if my memory serves us right, I think this is episode number 10 of the classroom series that we're running. If you haven't watched the beginning video, class number 1, then go back to that one. If I've misspelled it and you'll see in the title it's a different number, don't kill us for it. But one thing that I would suggest is, if you are serious about becoming a medium, if you are serious about understanding this concept, the logic that takes place in how this will work in your world, you need to watch this video to the very end. I don't tolerate or accept anyone who just skips parts of the videos. Fun fact, the reason why you skip parts of the video is because you're impatient. Listen, I get it. I'm a very impatient little creature myself. The problem that you're having is I can prove everything that I do. Therefore, if you are watching this video, there's something that you can't prove, there's something that doesn't make sense to you, you have to watch this video to absorb the content within. This, and I know I say that, right, and there's probably going to be a large percentage of people who say, oh, you're just another YouTuber, this is what they all say. But what you fail to acknowledge is when you come into these classrooms, these aren't scripted. These aren't rehearsed. These, I haven't got little, sometimes I might have like key things to address, but I've even stopped doing that now. And I know a lot of you might think, well, actually that's unprofessional, Jordan, but I just let spirit take over me. I channel energy. The spirit will come through my body and they speak. Therefore, I don't even know what we're going to be speaking about. It is 90% spirit, 10% me. We jump in between, and that's, we're going to be doing a video on that anyway. Let me know down in the comments section as well, right? If you have been struggling with knowing how to switch on and how to switch off from the spirit world. That's mankind's terminologies. Switch on, switch off, open, not open, ready to work, not ready to work, closed, blocked. Honestly, there's loads of these mad different notions, right? But if you are somebody who has been having trouble with this, let me know down in the comment section why it is that you're having trouble with. And also, before you watch this video any further, tell us now, before we go into this video, the reason why you think you are having problems. And by the end of this video, you're going to have the solution. It's going to help you to methodically plan it. It's going to show you where you've gone wrong. It's going to show you some sort of a gauge, a comparison, so to speak, of your understandings that have been cultivated by mankind and the actual understandings that is going to serve you. I'm looking forward to seeing some of your comments. It's difficult, isn't it? Because you've got likes of me and you've got thousands of other people. Again, there's none of us special. We aren't chosen by the spirit world. We aren't given special abilities from the spirit world. You are all human beings. What one human being can do, each and every one of you can do. But I get it, it must be quite difficult to a lot of people who want to connect to their loved ones, who want to become a medium, when you see us and you think, well, actually, hang on a minute. And yes, I know there's very different ways that we practice. There's very different attributes that one may have. I pride myself on my abilities to bring forward evidence. That isn't the general consensus among man. That's literally not even a thing. This is kind of a new thing, so to speak. And I know there's a lot of you go, no, it's not. It's been around for a long time. Yes. But this understanding that it has to be the very beginning of your core foundation to become an evidential medium, so to speak, is what's new. Because mankind have prided themselves on entertainment. They have prided themselves on their abilities to not bring forward evidence, but to look mystical, to look like they can do it by using hedge words, by using get out clauses. Oh, the spirit world must be wrong today. No, my friend, that's all changing. You are the one that's wrong in those moments. If you are the one who is speaking on behalf of the spirit world and the individual doesn't understand it, then unfortunately, in those moments, you are the one that's wrong. But it must be quite difficult to a lot of you who really want nothing more than to give it your all, to contact your loved ones. You want to do it all. There's one thing I'm going to say to you. You are good enough. And mark my words, if you continue this series, I will make you not just an evidential medium, which there should only be that. There shouldn't be any other forms of medium. That should just be an evidential medium. But I'm going to take you one step further. I'm going to give you the tools to be able to help yourself on a daily basis. You are going to be able to contact the spirit world with any secondary moment that you need. But one of the things that we have to realize, mankind have a little bit of a tendency to make things overcomplicated. Because as a species, it's got to be overcomplicated. If something is simple, then the problem is that doesn't make it universal. If it's simple, Spirit are saying readdress it. If it's simple, then it's universal. Mankind don't want this to be simple. Mankind don't want this to be universal. And there's going to be a lot of you wondering why that would be the case. Now, you probably all know individuals who are egotistical. You probably all know people who have information and don't want to share information. Well, unfortunately, this isn't just tied down to one specific niche. Mediumship, psychic development, tarot reading, many different forms of spiritual guidance, spiritual evolution, yada, yada, yada. It is embedded into it. If something is universal, the problem is with that is these people who are practitioners who wanted to look amazing, they want to look the best things since little baby Jesus wandered the planet in his little robes and all of these different things. And I'm not for 1 minute saying that happens, but it was just a little bit of a funny joke, spirit laughing. These individuals like to be able to suppress you by you not understanding that you are capable of doing this. Mark my words. You are watching this video at this point for a reason. Listen to these words as they sink in, as they are delivered from myself, from the spirit world. You are good enough, and we will work with you. And when you have committed the time and you have gotten into a place where you are comfortable with working with energy, because that's one of the things that you've got to realize is you are all already capable of doing this. But the difference between me and the difference between you is your understanding is preventing you. Mankind have put these blockages in place. And when I say blockages, let's not go down the spiritual sense. I don't want you to come off and start saying, Jordan, tell us, listen, blockages aren't a thing. The problem is with that is blockages in your own world are through your own lack of understandings, which have manifested fear at the forefront of your mind. This is what is now suppressing you. So forget about mankind and forget about all these different things. Yes, they have contributed to the problem, but you now are your own problem. Because when we're coming into, is it spirit or is it me? This is something that you need to understand at the very, very beginning stages of this. You are all more than capable. You are all more than competent. You can all do this. But mankind would have you believe it's not. That's not the way that this works. It's not the way that you can't do that. I have big schools who message me, right? I could literally show you the evidence. I like to think that my work speaks for itself and I've got no reason to tell porky pies. Listen, it does mean nothing to me. But I have mainstream teaching schools who have asked me to stop, please, stop doing some of the practices I'm doing. Stop showing mankind. Why do you think they're doing that? Do you think they're doing that because they're wanting to help you? Or do you think they're doing that because they're scared of what we're bringing? We are making this universal. We are giving this to the everyday person. We are taking it from the grubby hands of mankind who've suppressed each and every human being on this planet. And we are giving it to each and every one of you to use at your grace, to use whenever you feel fit. when it comes to connecting to the spirit world and is it your own thoughts, there's a little bit of a problem that takes place here. First of all, in the first instance, we'll have to acknowledge that as we go through our divine spiritual path and we take decisions consciously, sometimes subconsciously in our sleep, but there's a little bit of a process going on, and that is called the human mind. It's one of the most powerfulest computers that you'll ever come to know, or even to sense, or to be part of. And this computer has many different functions to do. Part of that is keeping you alive as a human being, so you can fulfill your life purpose, so you can fulfill everything that you need to do. By some of the conditioning that it's already been through, and by some of the ritualistic processes it has to go to keep you alive. The problem is with that, it becomes very difficult for you to know when something is of spirit and when something is of your own mind. And I'm going to let you in on a little bit of a hack. It's actually very, very simple to know when it's spirit and when it's your own mind. When, for example, let's give you an example. I think spirit, I want to do an example first because it's going to make a little bit more logical sense. If you are standing in the kitchen preparing food for our meal, and all of a sudden, we have many different clairsenses. There are many different ways that energy will communicate through your clairsenses to be able to give you information to either articulate or to be able to retain for a later time or date or whatever, depending on your will. But one of the things that we've got to know right out of the gate is when it's of our own mind or when it's of the spirit world. And this is where a lot of you are going to feel. This is where I see a lot of mediums who feel. And you're standing in the kitchen, you're preparing food, everything's going great. You're looking out the window and you see a beautiful blue sky, birds singing, everything. That's just, it's a beautiful picturesque scene. And then you hear, we're going to do it tomorrow. And then you're thinking, where did that come from? Was that the spirit world? If you had heard it in your mind, which is the most prevalent claircognizance to each and every one of you, you're going to actually hear that in your mind. If you heard it, this is going to be clairaudience, clear hearing. And it's going to freak a lot of you out. But in the initial stages, we need to identify, were we thinking of the spirit world then? Because here's the trick, which you all need to become comfortable with and familiar with. In those moments, did you think of the spirit world? If you didn't, you need to write it off. Don't be that one person who clings to any slight little bit of information, because yes, the spirit world will be communicating with you, but you are in charge, my friend. It is you who should be requesting that information. Honestly, the spirit world are little chatterboxes, but it's all right them be little chatterboxes. But if it means no sense to your world or to your situation or to what you are trying to achieve, and you can't work with that energy on a conscious level, then it's irrelevant, because the spirit world will sit and talk to you all day long, like literally they're in my ear all the time, right? And it's awesome, it's great. But I, as an individual, know how to tell the difference between it being spirit or my own mind. Was I thinking of spirit in those moments? So let's replay that scenario. Go back through again. So we're cooking the food, we're preparing the food in the kitchen. All of a sudden, we think of a loved one. And we then hear the audible cue. And we think straight away, was that them? What was that? Yes, it was them, because you have initiated that call. Think of it like a mobile phone. My mobile phone is me as a person. I know it's probably got more hair on its head off dust than what I've got on my head, but think of it like a mobile phone. A mobile phone has, one of its primary functions is to make outgoing calls. If I want to call someone on this device, I need to place my intent, and believe it or not, a lot of you are like mobile phones, and I don't mean that in the sense that you can play apps. Well, technically you can play apps, can't you? Because you could just log in and play an app. But I don't mean in that smartphone sense. But what I'm trying to say is you can receive and perceive and also send out signals, which is the same as mobile phone. But for me to be able to use this mobile phone to ring a friend, not that I've got many, but if I was to ring a friend, my intent would go into this phone. Right, I'm going to ring my good friend Ian, and that is a true friend actually. I'm going to ring Ian. Now the first thing that I've got to do is I'm going to have to place my intent. That's it. The intent is now locked. I know as a process what I now must do. Therefore, I'm now going to access my phone, maybe just not show everyone my passcodes. And then I'm going to dial a number for Ian. I'm going to go, hello mate, how you doing? In that process, you see in there, I placed my intent, I put my thoughts into place, and then I initiate the phone call. Fluent. Yeah, you're all very familiar with that. Well, this is the same with mediumship. If you are wanting to communicate with the spirit world, then you have to place your intent. You remember you being the mobile phone? I know a lot of you might not think like that size and you might not look like that, but think of yourself, for this analogy, as being a mobile phone. We are going to place our intent. Then us being the mobile phone, we need to initiate that call. We are going to send out the signal. We are going to dial whoever we want, whether that be the spirit world, the angelic realms, whether that be the realms. Many different places you're going to be putting your energy. One thing is don't worry about where you're putting your energy, because angelic realms and the realms aren't going to be interested in you unless it's a specific cause. But if you are wanting to communicate with the spirit world in those moments, what you're going to do is you're going to place your intent. You've initiated that by the thought process, and now we are requesting information. That information is going to come back to you how it would in a mobile phone. If I'm talking to my friend and he says, oh yeah, I'm having a good day, mate, how's your day? That signal's coming down those airways, it's coming down through frequencies, and it's coming into this device. You, in this analogy, are the mobile phone. So if you consciously place the intent, you put your thoughts out, and then the next thing that happens is you're going to receive energy. That energy is going to be perceived. It's going to come back to each and every one of you, and then you can decode it and you can do whatever you need to do with that. So as you can see from the example, each and every one of you, I know I'm referring to you as mobile phones, but I think you can see from it how effective as a tool that would be. Now, getting back to why we went on that little bit of an explanation, you're back in the kitchen, you're thinking of a loved one, and then all of a sudden, you hear your loved one, you hear those words, you hear, that was them. If you were doing something and you weren't thinking of them, you have to write it off. You can't accept that. That is not evidential. That is not what you requested to hear. Even if it makes sense to you, you have to stop and you have to say, I'm sorry, I don't accept that. The more times that you do that, the more the spirit world are going to go, well, actually, hang on a minute. If I'm speaking to Jordan here and it's not when he's requesting, then unfortunately, he's not going to listen. Therefore, spirit world won't give you information. Therefore, you as an individual become refined because you can hone in on your craft. You're not like one of these people who are just willy-nilly getting information from left, right and centre and don't know where to put it. You know, by building and strengthening your bond and your connection to the spirit world, you know that when you speak, the spirit world wanted you to speak in those moments. A lot of people make this very, very complicated because they have many different rituals, many different ways of working with energy, many different mechanisms that they believe work in their favour, which they don't. Some people will tell you to think of a white light, thinning the veil, and then when it comes into your body, you need to go on. You have to do all of these stupid things. Listen, stop that. Make this pure, simple mind shift change. The second you think of spirit, we are now working with spirit. Whether you think you are or you aren't, anything that you receive in those moments is from spirit. One of the things spirit are telling us to do this, one of the things that I would advise each and every one of you to do who are struggling with the connection to spirit, struggling with getting this right, what you need to do is, it's a form of automatic writing, spirit are saying, and what we are going to be able to do by using automatic writing as a process, we are going to be able to give you the conditioning that you need, the confidence that you need to be able to speak on behalf of the spirit world. It's coming straight through there. So this is something that I would recommend each and every one of you to do, because some of the times when we're talking about specific topics, like I said at the beginning of this video, a lot of the things I don't know what we're going to be talking about, so definitely make sure you try this. And what you're going to be doing is you're going to be putting yourself into a comfortable environment, somewhere where there's not loads of noise pollution. You're not going to be, I mean, you could listen to maybe some light music just so you can start to kind of unwind. You can start to relax. This isn't a meditation. We don't want to be going into a meditation here. We've got to make this very blatant, very clear. Do not do this going into a meditation. Whilst in a meditation you can automatic write, I said this is a form of it. This is completely different to what you'll find out there. So don't go into a meditation for this. They're being very, very stern on that. What we want you to do is to be in a conscious state of mind so that we can channel energy through each and every one of you. We are going to be using a pen and a bit of paper. And what you've got to do is nice and calmly cut off. Remember, maybe listen to some light music if you want to, just to relax. All you need to do is to relax. And then the next biggest step is going to be trust. All you need to do is, by placing your intent, by sitting in this comfortable position, by placing everything in that moment, in those initial seconds, by giving the spirit world and handing over to the spirit world and the energy and everything else that you want to hand over to, you might have different words for it, but by handing over in those moments, that is how you set your intent. That's now placed your intent. You are locked in, my friend. And all you need to do then is write whatever comes to your mind. Do not challenge it. Do not think, why am I doing this? Do not. And this is going to be the spirit world working through you. This is going to be the spirit world. So, for example, if you're just sitting there and you're writing and you go, bins next week. Yes, you may argue and say, well, actually, that's my own mind. That's me telling me. No. In these moments, you have to condition yourself so that you are prepared and you are ready to receive. The second that you place your intent, we need to start actioning that information that's coming through, because a lot of you will be getting information. A lot of you will write that information off because it's not standard to you. It's not one of the normal things that you would do. By sitting in a controlled environment and by telling yourself that in these moments, I am now going to speak. What this allows you to do is when you come into a mediumship, when you come into a mediumship setting, what that's going to allow you to do, it's showing you that silence, it's showing you the stagnation that you need in those moments. It's taking you, see, when you get to my level, right, or many other people's levels, you don't need to do anything. It's instant. You know when it's you or when it's spirit. But at the initial stages, it's about you being in tune with yourself to be able to receive and perceive and acknowledge when it's of the spirit world. By placing your intent in sitting with the spirit world, placing your intent, sending out that signal, ready to receive, in those moments, everything that comes through, you bloody start writing it down. It doesn't matter how stupid you think it sounds. It doesn't matter what it looks like. You might be somebody who likes to draw. If you're drawing, draw. Don't stop. Then, when you come out of that setting, everything else you don't accept. Therefore, you have set in place a structured process within your human logic. You now know that when you go into this setting, this is for spirit. That is the on-off that people speak about. This is the quickest way for you to learn how to go into an on-off position. I'm not going to say open to work, close to work, or any of that crap. Listen, there's many different terminologies. I don't really care for any of them. It's very basic, very simple. It's a simple cognitive shift of the mind so that you as a person know the difference between the energy that's coming through. It's going to be one of those things as well where a lot of people will tell you, and you'll probably find when you first start doing this, it's going to be very difficult because you're going to have so many battles going on within your mind. You're going to think, but remember why we're doing this. We are doing this. Remember what I said, the biggest word, trust. We are doing this not to show you how good you are, but to give you a mere glimpse into the confidence that will come with the spirit world. It's this process, this routine is going to get you prepared and ready to openly speak. Well, I think we're going to bring that video to an end there. Sorry, everyone. Something happened with my audio. I had like loads of flashes, so this audio is probably not going to sound very good. Anyway, if you like this video, remember to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so, and until the next time, bye-bye for now.